Hey everybody, welcome back to the Junkyard Dog Report. Great game last night, as you can tell, and two Junkyard Dogs. Lamar Stevens and Howell Neto both tied for the Junkyard Dog, and I'm gonna throw this up now because I always forget to do it, and we're about to hop into some highlights anyway, so might as well, get that out of the way now so I don't mess it up again. Uh, you know, Great game last night, but obviously things didn't go perfectly. So we're gonna, look at some plays where things didn't go our way last night. So let's start with that. Here we go. We got DeAndre Ayton working against Jared Allen, putting up a tough shot over him, and he gets it in. Here's a fast break with Mikal Bridges, and Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell are not going to stop the man who was second in Defensive Player of the Year voting last year. Here's DeAndre Ayton hitting a nice mid-range shot from the top of the key, nice from the elbow. Here's Mikal Bridges working against Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell gets screened off by DeAndre Ayton, and Mikal hits a tough falling away shot while Jared Allen has to back up and pick up DeAndre Ayton again. Here we got Dwayne Washington Jr. off to Ayton, off to Mikal again. LeVert tries to contest, but Mikal Bridges is just too wet with it when it comes to his three-point shot. He's going to hit when you don't, take a great contest on him. Here's Dwayne Washington Jr., who was kind of going off in this game, making a nice little floater over there. Here is Jock Landale working against Evan Mobley, and I would like him to be more physical in that sort of situation right there, right? You got a young man in Jock Landale just going right at him. You got to show him who's boss. He's Landry Shamet off to a cutting Mikal Bridges, who throws the hammer down. And we played great defense for most of the night. Here's Dwayne Washington Jr. working against Okoro. That's a great contest right there, but that's an even better finish by Dwayne Washington Jr. You got to give him a lot of credit for that. Here is Dwayne again, who was absolutely nuclear in this game for a good portion of it, specifically the end of the second and half of the third. Here is Dwayne Washington again, who's going to pull from nearly half court and absolutely drain that thing. And, this is a reason Howell Neto was inserted into the game to try and stop that man. His confidence kept going up. Here is DeAndre Ayton to Torrey Craig in the corner, who hits a three. And here we got Mikal Bridges raising up above Jared Allen before he's able to react and putting in a nice mid-range bucket. Here we got Dwayne Washington Jr., who catches Jared Allen off guard. Looks like he's going to the right. Then he cuts back left and puts it up. Here's a pass to Mikal Bridges, who is working against Kevin Love, who finds Dwayne Washington Jr. in the corner. And he's so comfortable right now. He's so in the zone right now that he's just freaking out. He's letting all his emotions go, and you can't blame him for that. He played fantastic. I have it here, he was 8 for 14 in 15 minutes of play, and that was, at that point, that shot right there, with 1:47 left in the third. And you could see the highlights cut off at the third quarter. I want to do the fourth quarter individually because the fourth quarter was so great, in my opinion. So we got through some of those miscues, and something else I wanted to add is you see that says Bally Sports Ohio over there. Yeah, those highlights are not from Bally Sports Ohio. They're probably from Bally Sports Southwest. So I just wanted to point that out. Not like it makes that much of a difference. I definitely regretted making that Bally Sports Ohio and not just Bally Sports, but who really cares, to be honest? As long as the NBA lets me use these plays. Here's some good plays from this game for the Cavs. Here's Darius Garland working against Landry Shamet. He raises up from the mid-range and puts it in before Landry Shamet can put a good contest on him. Here's a play where the Suns had a fast break. They made a mistake. Jared Allen tips it to Donovan Mitchell, who passed to Evan Mobley, off to Darius Garland, who throws the hammer down. And, the NBA, where amazing happens, Darius Garland and Kevin Love dunked in this game. Here's Donovan Mitchell off to Evan Mobley, working against Dario Saric. Kicks to Isaac Okoro, who was absolutely on fire from three, specifically early in this game. Here you're going to see another one. He passed off to LeVert, a nice two-man game off to Okoro in the corner, and he was so, you could see the confidence in his shot. Even the ones he missed, he was right there with it. It's great to see his development in that sense. And here's LeVert off of a Darius Garland feed and Evan Mobley screen, working a two-man game with Evan Mobley for a nice mid-range shot, which he put in over DeAndre Ayton. Here's LeVert on the fast break, passing to Evan Mobley, and Damian Lee is just too small to try and handle that man, so he just puts it up and in. Here we go. We got Darius Garland off to LeVert, who's really been flourishing lately, off to Evan Mobley again. They're working their nice two-man game. And here he dishes off to Kevin Love, who throws the hammer down. And I hate to borrow AC's catchphrase, but, it's just amazing that Darius Garland and Kevin Love both dunked in the same game. Here's Karis LeVert off to Evan Mobley, who finishes it over Jock Landale. And, the NBA, where amazing happens, like I said. Here is Jetty Osman getting Landry Shamet back for a three that Landry just made on him. Doing a couple jab steps to move him off as much as possible, was still sinking that contested three, which was great to see. Here's Darius Garland working on Dario Saric off to Evan Mobley, who throws the hammer down. And I just said it 3 times. I need my own, catchphrase, right? Josh Okogie absolutely airmails a three. LeVert grabs the rebound off to Donovan Mitchell, and at that point, it's off to the races. Man runs down the court, and your Eastern Conference Player of the Week, by the way, puts it in. Here we got Darius Garland, who looks like he's putting up a floater, but really he's throwing up a nice alley-oop to Jared Allen to throw the hammer down, for lack of a better phrase. Here is Donovan Mitchell working on Landry Shamet and McHale. He's able to split the double team because McHale is scared to commit and get a bucket to bail us out because the shot clock was dwindling down there. Here's Darius Garland on a fast break. And again, you have Dwayne Washington Jr. on Jared Allen, Torrey Craig trying to help. Those are 2 guys that are too small to take that man, so he just throws it down over him. Here's Donovan Mitchell on an inbounds play, grabbing the steal, finding Jared Allen running down court with him, feeding him, and the big man just comes down the paint and puts in the dunk. Here we got some Karis LeVert action. A little stutter step, steps back and hits that mid-range shot from the top of the key. And LeVert, I got to give him a lot of credit. Ever since he's had his role fully defined, he's been flourishing lately. Here's Donovan Mitchell with a nice Jared Allen screen. A nice little side step to the left and putting the three in. And, he's Eastern Conference Player of the Week for a reason. He scored 71 on last Monday. Here's Donovan Mitchell with a nice finish at the rim. Here's Donovan Mitchell off to Karis LeVert, who is going to put it up from the mid-range over Dwayne Washington. And that's it for the first 3 quarters of play. And, we had some great moments in the first 3 quarters. We also had some lackluster moments, right? You got to remember this is a Suns team that didn't have Chris Paul or Devin Booker playing, which is pretty much their entire offense right there in terms of scoring. It would be like if we didn't have Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell for a game. And I think that comparison works because the Suns do remind me of us, like an older version of us. They're a little bit different because instead of having Evan Mobley and a question mark at 3, no offense to Okoro or Lamar Stevens or Dean Wade or Jetty or anyone else, but instead of having, a potential superstar in the making in Evan Mobley at the 4, they have that split between Mikal Bridges, who's an all-defensive first-team type player while also being a great three-point shooter, and Cam Johnson, who was also out last night, who was another guy who's a solid defender and a great three-point shooter. And they've had a lot of injuries lately, which is tough for them, but we can't play them soft because we feel bad for them. Being up 80-79 on this team at the end of the third quarter is, I don't want to complain about it, but I'm just going to say, we should be up by more. And credit to Dwayne Washington Jr., who was, playing really well for that stretch there when he was in until Howell came and, locked things down. But let's just get into the fourth quarter because the fourth quarter was great for us. We started the fourth quarter on a 27-6 run. He was a block by Evan Mobley, a strip by Howell Neto, off to the fast break, and Darius Garland's going to take a transition 3 to put in the bucket. And we didn't go over the scoring yet, so I might say that for later. But this quarter here's Evan Mobley working against Jock Landale, a nice step-back fader over him to put it in from the mid-range, right from the foul line. This quarter specifically was this is the first score by the Suns in this quarter, by the way, this dunk by Jock Landale, and they didn't score for a little while after. So here's LeVert working against Torrey Craig, getting double or triple team, finds Howell Neto out wide open, and he hits a 3. Those were his only points in this game, I believe, but he came in to play more defense than offense anyway. Here's Evan Mobley with a bunch of Suns players around him. He finds Karis LeVert wide open for 3, and he puts it in. This is the reason we had 6 guys in double figures in this game is because guys kept finding the open guy, and you got to give Jarrett and Ev a lot of credit because they got a lot of assists. Here's Darius Garland finding Lamar Stevens cutting from the wing, and he throws the alley-oop up and puts it down. Here's Darius Garland again, taking up court screen from Evan Mobley. He's going to just pop that mid-range from the elbow. And, I mean, when you got Jock Landale just dropping back in coverage that much, you got to just pull up at that point. And same kind of situation here. Jock Landale tries to step up, but he was already playing so far off that Ev is able to just rise up and put in that mid-range shot. And here we got just like a miscue, it's an inbounds play. Ev gets lost a little bit, and DeAndre Ayton throws it down. Here, Ev almost loses it on offense. Howell's able to get it back, and he works the Suns, finds Evan Mobley wide open under the rim for a dunk. Here's Darius Garland finding Karis LeVert in the corner. Karis getting closed out on, so he, drives to the rim, runs into Mikal Bridges, so he just settles for a nice mid-range shot instead, which he's able to put in. Here's Darius Garland off to Jared Allen, who's going to set him a little back screen, and Darius Garland's going to put in a nice layup. And here we got Karis LeVert on Jock Landale. So Karis LeVert and Lamar Stevens are not going to be able to take the 7-foot plus or however tall he is, Jock Landale there. Here you could see the reserves are in. And here's Torrey Craig finishing a nice shot. And I'd like to point out right here that their reserves dominated our reserves. And that's the only reason they were able to make the score look at least somewhat respectable in the fourth. So let's go over the quarter scoring. We won the first quarter 35-26, which is great, especially considering the Suns started that quarter on a 9-2 run. We lost the second 28-22. We lost the third 25-23, and we won the fourth 32-19. But that 32-19 is a little misleading, right? And you might be saying, how? We dominated them in the fourth. And I'm saying it's misleading because we dominated them by more than what the stats show. When our starters or, when our actual lineup was in, because, Howell, Neto, and Lamar Stevens were in the game at certain points, and other guys were in the game at certain points, and they're not starters. But when our active lineup was in the game, not the reserves, we won the fourth 27-6. Once the bench is cleared, the Suns won the rest of the quarter 13-5. So it's like, do I need to say anything else about how great we played in that fourth in terms of our guys? And I would have loved that energy to be kept up by the reserves, but I can't really complain at all because 32-19 is still great. And you got to give a lot of credit to Howell, Neto, and Lamar Stevens, who were great in this game. And I'm just going to pull this up for them and leave it up as much as possible. These guys were fantastic in this game. Lamar Stevens didn't enter the game until there were 5 minutes left in the third quarter, I believe. I can check it right here. Yeah, about 5 minutes left in the third quarter. And Howell checked in a minute or two afterwards. Neither of them played 20 minutes in this game, but they probably had the biggest impact out of anyone on the court last night in terms of the spark they gave our team heading into the fourth. And so we're going to move on to some... I forgot, guys. I haven't been able to use this in so long. I forgot. We dropped the Cavaliers on their asses. Okay. That's definitely something I loved in this game. Definitely. I haven't been able to use the Cavaliers graphic in a long time. I probably could have used it for the first time we played the Suns, but I didn't make a video then. I explained the last one. I bit off a little more than I could chew that day. But just keep these Cavaliers rolling. That's all I got to say. I want to be using this graphic every time I make a video. And by the way, something to add, last night was our 17th win of the season by 10-plus points, and we lead the league in that category, which is like, you could call it a cherry pick stat if you want, but I think it's a great indicator of where we are right now because we're starting to finish games well. Like, if we don't play well all night, it's one thing. But when we're having a game where, there's ups and downs, like in this game against the Suns, you could even see it in the scoring. The first quarter didn't start off right. The Suns go on a 9-2 run. And then we respond big time, right? We win that quarter 35-26. So we're talking about a 33-17 run. We almost doubled their scoring from that point on in the first. And then you go into the second, and they beat us by 6. I believe it was 28-22. Well, I shouldn't be saying I believe because I have it here. Yeah, it was 28-22. The third, they beat us 25-23. And then the fourth, we come back with a bang. We beat them 27-6. That's what I'm going to say from now on, by the way. We won that quarter 27-6. Because when the reserves come in, no disrespect to reserves, but, they call it garbage time for a reason. And if you are a reserve, you can carve out a role for yourself by showing your effort in that time. It's just that in terms of the statistics of this game, it's not really relevant, in my opinion, at least. And they just did a lot of window dressing then to make it look better than it was. And let's move on. We'll move on to some quotes from this game, and I'm going to leave those up that I had up before. I'll put that up. Even if it's covered by one of these guys, I think I'll leave it up anyway. Oh, no, it's a Marvin time. So I'm going to leave these up so you can only see my head and read some quotes for you guys from this game. And all of these quotes have to do with Raul. I didn't want to do too many quotes, so I just picked my favorite from each one of these interviews. And if you saw Donovan Mitchell's post-game interview, I was spending too much time laughing and enjoying myself to actually write anything down. So I apologize. I don't have any quotes from Donovan Mitchell for this game. But what JB had to say about Raul Neto in this game, he said, Dwayne Washington Jr. was cooking. We needed somebody who could kind of slow him down. So the staff suggested we put in Raul, and he was ready to go. And what Ev had to say about Raul was, we call him Tiny Dog because he's a dog out there. Anybody he's matched up against, he's going to go hard. We really value his presence out there. And what Raul had to say about himself, he came in the second half, hadn't played a single second in the first half, hadn't played a single second in the first 7+ minutes of the third quarter. So what he had to say about his mindset coming in at that point was, I got to bring the spark. And Donovan Mitchell said something else about Raul, which I will paraphrase now because, as you can tell, I didn't write it down, as I said. He said that going against Raul every day in practice is a pain for him. So that's definitely something great to hear. With Ricky Rubio coming back soon, it's going to be interesting to see how JB uses Raul. I think Raul should be I guess you could call him our Weapon X or something. We stash him on the bench, and let's say we run into the Hawks in the playoffs. Try to get some revenge for the playing game last year, and we insert him. He's a little pest on Trae Young. Maybe gets under his skin. Trae Young, shoves Raul and ejected from the game. I don't know. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on moving forward, especially because I felt like he should have been getting more playing time throughout this whole part of the season without Ricky Rubio to begin with. It's just that, this is how the things work out, and it's not up to me. It's up to JB. I'm going to leave that Cavalanche up there for as long as possible because I don't get to use it often. I used it a good amount when I first started making these videos, but not as much lately. Oh, yeah, by the way, I alluded to this when I was going over the highlights. I may as well fully say it now. Why is this big? Anyway, Spider Donovan Mitchell is the Eastern Conference Player of the Week. As you all know, he scored 71 points a week ago. And, that's definitely going to help when you want to win Eastern Conference Player of the Week. But moving on into the statistics of this game. Let's get the big four up here. So this is the first game in a while, since before Donovan Mitchell scored 71, that we had the big four together. And I'm pretty sure it was the game right before that we had the whole big four together. And it's funny because the big four scored 71 points in this game. 22 from Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell apiece, 14 from Evan Mobley, 13 from Jared Allen. And the rest had 41. A solid split there. Isaac Okoro had 14 and Karis LeVert had 13, so 27 out of that 41 right there. A bunch of other guys had, 4, 3, 2. And that right there is your 6 guys who were in double figures in this game, which we love to see. I think we should always have 6 guys in double figures, especially considering the guys we do have, right? We have other guys that have potential to be in double figures. Kevin Love, Jetty Osman. You got Dean Wade when he comes back. Lamar Stevens on certain nights. You got Ricky Rubio when he's back. Who knows? Maybe Dylan Windler could be added to that list later in the year. You know, there's probably somebody else I'm missing right now, but that's besides the point. We have a lot of guys on our bench. We're a deep team, so you know, I want us to have 6+ guys in double figures every night. That would be fantastic. Moving on to the rebounds, the big four had 24. Jared Allen led the way with 12, 8 from Evan Mobley, and 2 apiece from Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. The rest had 15, and 6 of those were from Lamar Stevens, 4 from Kevin Love, 3 from Isaac Okoro, and 1 apiece for Karis LeVert and Raul Neto. For assists, we had over 25 assists in this game. I think we're like 2-3 in our last 5 games with 25+ assists. So maybe we'll start to flip that around. I mean, as soon as I started saying it, every time we have 25+ assists, we're unbeatable. You know, the basketball gods laughed in my face. So I'm gonna have a little fun with that. So the big four had 20 assists. Darius Garland led the way with 7. Evan Mobley had 6. Jared Allen had 5, and Donovan Mitchell had 2. And let me say what the rest had before I get in my little spiel here. The rest had 9, 7 for Karis LeVert, and 2 for Raul Neto. And what I was saying in my last video is that the big men need more touches. And I was specifically highlighting Jared Allen because, you know, it's a tough transition from going from the captain and face of the franchise star of the team at the start of last season to the 3rd, 4th option on offense now. But while the guys didn't, you know, the big men didn't take a lot of shots in this game, they did have a lot of assists, you know, 5 and 6. They're great passers as big men, so keep getting them the ball. Good things will keep happening. And once we get under that free throw line on offense, good things do seem to happen for us. So moving on. In terms of steals, the big four had 4 and the rest had 4, so a nice split there. Darius Garland had 2, and Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen both had 1 apiece. The rest had 4, 3 for Karis LeVert and 1 for Raul Neto. And for the blocks, 4 for the big four and 1 for the rest. The rest was just 1, which was Lamar Stevens. And for the big four, 2 from Jared Allen, 1 from Evan Mobley, and 1 from Donovan Mitchell. So great numbers all across the board there. Even our turnover numbers were good, which I'm going to get to now. We had 14 total turnovers, 9 from the big four, 5 from the rest. And for the big four, 4 turnovers from Donovan Mitchell, 3 from Evan Mobley, and 2 from Darius Garland. And for the rest was, you know, that 5 was from 5 different guys. So Isaac Okoro, Karis LeVert, Jetty Osman, Lamar Stevens, and Mamadi Diakite. So right at the league average at 14 in terms of turnovers, which is great. I mean, like, all the numbers on there are great. You know, 39 rebounds, 29 assists. You're talking about 8 steals, 5 blocks. I mean, I always want more blocks and steals, you know, because those are great things to have. Specifically blocks, because considering the guys we have at the 4 and the 5, and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. But, you know, nothing to complain about there. Okay, let's head over to the plus minus. We have more guys on here than usual because, not more than usual, since I changed it, because usually in my last few videos I've just been saying the guy who's on top. But for this one, I just put in everyone who's over double digits. So Karis LeVert led the way. He's plus 28. Darius Garland was plus 22. Evan Mobley was plus 13. And those guys all played 28 to 30 plus minutes. Karis LeVert was the only one of those 3 to not play 30 plus minutes. He played, I think, 28 minutes and 22 seconds in this game. And the other 2 guys on here are Lamar Stevens, who's plus 10, and Raul Neto, who's plus 9, because they played. Lamar Stevens only 15 minutes and 26 seconds. Raul Neto only 11 minutes and 7 seconds. So, you know, you put them in there as long as the other guys. Lamar Stevens may be plus 20. Raul Neto's plus 27. Now, that's, you know, that's not how things work, obviously. I'm just joking, of course. But moving on to the field goal percentage and such for this game, we shot 57.7% from the field. We were absolutely scorching to start the game. We started 11 of 12 from the field. We finished the first quarter 14 of 19 from the field. And, you know, I think we shot 74% in the first quarter. I think that's what that computes to, which would make sense because 15 out of 20 is like 75%. So, Great field goal percentage. We were 45 of 78 from the field. We were 37.9% from 3 in this game, 11 for 29. Probably would have been around 40 if Jetty Osmond wasn't stepping out of bounds on that 1-3 he hit. But, I mean, it is what it is. Obviously want to keep it above 40, but whatever. From the free throw line, now this is a little bit of an alarm for me because ever since I started doing these videos, all the time we were 70, 80, 90. There was one blip at like the start of my videos when we shot like 69% from the free throw line, but now we're talking about 2 games in a row where we're absolutely atrocious from the free throw line. I believe the last game we were hovering around 50%. In this game, we were at 64.7% from the free throw line. We were 11 for 17. Now, is this cause for too much alarm? No, but when you get into the playoffs, closing out games, a lot of that relies on what you do at the free throw line because, you're up 2, teams are going to foul you, hope you miss one, try to hit a 3. So let's go into the 6 missed free throws in this game. Jetty Osmond and Isaac Okoro were both 0 for 2, combined 0 for 4 from the free throw line in this game, even though Isaac Okoro was shooting great overall. He couldn't get it going from the free throw line, and Jetty, honestly, surprising that he shot 0 for 2 from the free throw line, even though, it's not that big of a deal because there's only 1 trip for each of them, but still. Darius Garland was 4 for 5, can't blame him. Jared Allen was 1 for 2, can't blame him either. So really those 6 misses mostly came from, obviously, the 4 from Jetty and Isaac Okoro. Not that big of a deal. Great game, great win. I want to shout out Lamar Stevens specifically, obviously also Howell Neto, but I'm saying Lamar specifically because he didn't get that as much love from the media and all that after this game. And I think he deserved a little bit more love. Howell also deserved a lot of love for the way he played. He was a huge spark for us in this game, and he completely changed the... Oh, I forgot I left that Cavalanche up. Whatever, I'm going to leave it up. I'm going to close with that Cavalanche up because we closing on it. All right, we dropped the Cavalanche on the Suns. Let's hope we do it again against the Jazz tomorrow. And I almost forgot to say that I'm not going to be doing the video for the Timberwolves game because my Giants are playing a playoff game for the first time in 6-7 years on Sunday. And that game is on against the Timberwolves on Saturday. So the Jazz game and the, I'm blanking on it, the Blazers, I believe, game, I will be doing the videos for, but on Saturday, that Timberwolves game, I will watch it, but I'm not going to make a video for it. And last but not least, it's covering the other thing, but vote for the Cavs for the All-Star game. I've said this before. I have Jetty Osmond in there just because I didn't want to pick Isaac or Lamar during all the time where they were both split in time there. But until next time, keep scrapping like a bunch of junkyard dogs.